Welcome to another edition of Super Kicking with Steven. That's right, Super Kicking with Steven. Hopefully you can hear me there. There we go. Hopefully. All right. Ready to talk up all the good stuff. What a week it was, Greg, in wrestling. Chad Gable died, but then came back to life. Wyatt Six debuted. What else? We had Seth Rollins return. We have Clash of the Castle results. We got all kinds of good stuff to talk up. My hometown has plenty of news to talk up if the reports are true. But first off, Greg, how in the world was your week?
Crazy busy, man. Crazy busy. Airport life is airport life, and storms and monsoons and craziness, and that equals lots of disgruntled passengers and people yelling at me and me trying to, not cut a promo on them in the middle of a crowded airport. So, you know, it was a challenge, but we got through it. Got to see some good wrestling, and all the rumors and the juicy gossip out there is nice. So been enjoying it.
Yeah. So let's get started right with it. Let's get into Clash at the Castle results. Nothing really stood out to me other than the tag team match, Greg.
Right.
Where in the world? I mean, I think they were the last on our list. The unholy union of Alba Fire and Ela Dawn. This will be their second run, so we'll see how the second time goes around, Greg. But that I think I want to start there. What did you think about the upset? I mean, we might as well call that an upset because there was no way I had
Yeah.
them winning that match. I think I would
Yeah.
have even put Baszler and Zoe Stark above them, Greg, just with the way they've been booked. But here we go. Unholy Union, new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
Yeah. Big shock. Big shock. I think the Jade and Bianca was the slam dunk. Forget about it. Next question. Match of the night, and to see that go down the way it did, I get how they did it. Using Jade and Bianca's finisher to get the pin,
Yeah.
squirreling the way to the championship. So that makes sense. But hey, it goes along with what I've been putting out there for the last couple months. Standing on business that night one main event, at least co-main event, is going to be Bianca versus Jade. And I think this is starting that walk to that destination.
Yeah.
Um, we saw that how Jade was really upset about the finish, and maybe not because they lost, but her performance was dreadful. She missed a couple spots and looked really bad in the process, and the other girls had to cover for her. And beside that, they were, you could tell they're not on the same page, and even on the Monday after, there was some disconnect there. So I
Yeah.
think this is the start. And
Yeah.
now we're going to get on that path slowly, and it's going to ramp up each month. But it's going to happen. I think this is how they're deciding to kick it off.
Yeah.
But them losing the championships at Clash.
Yeah. And that I guess that's the biggest thing. It's like where do both women go? And my bigger news or my bigger kind of takeaway is let's hope that Alba Fire, and Ela Dawn, it does something for them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Cody Rhodes did defeat AJ Styles in a pretty fantastic I Quit match. Man, it's amazing to think they've had two matches and two 5-star, 4.5-star matches, Greg, for never wrestling each other ever. Do you think we get one more match out of them, or is that kind of the end of the road for Cody and AJ?
Yeah, they do have great chemistry together. The match was solid, very solid. I didn't care about the finish very much, but it is what it is. It was still, a great lead off way to start the card.
Yeah,
Um, if we get another one, I would like to see another one. But as it is, Cody's won two, so
yeah,
doing a trilogy unless there's some super stipulation to it, which we've already done this angle, doesn't make much sense anymore. So I think it's better to pivot AJ off to something else because you know, you had your straight match and you had your gimmick match, and now Cody's 2-0. So I don't think there's a reason to give him a match 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really curious what AJ Styles is going to do. You know, the rumblings of TNA and WWE partnership. Could he go down there and do a quick run to kind of finish the time? But his story is bigger right now, or you know, his direction. I'm very curious about because we already saw Cody Rhodes and Solo. They did fight on SmackDown, but of course that was all discombobulated, and we saw another cousin. This bloodline just never stops, Greg. And apparently the word is Jacob Fatu has 7 kids. So we could even keep going down the road, Greg, with the Sokoa Anoy bloodline. I mean, man, this could be for centuries. This could be for decades and centuries to come if these guys, you know, these people keep populating as it is. But Mama Rhodes got her time in. I guess she didn't know when to hit him, Greg. And then when she did hit him, she hit him a few times on AJ.
Right.
So, and the ending, yeah, it is funny because you're like, well, he's going to hit him no matter what. So you know he ends up hitting with the steel steps anyway. So I can see where you're saying though it feels flat because you know he hits him anyway. So you should have probably just ended with that. He hits him, knocks him out. He says I quit, and then you move on. But yeah, still really good match, and like you said, good chemistry between the two. Well, Greg, I will allow you to shove me off the edge of the cliff because what a rough freaking week for Chad Gable. He loses on Clash of the Castle, loses to Braun Strowman, I believe, loses his family or his Alpha Academy, and gets knocked in the head to where people thought he got shot in the head. It was not exactly who shot JR. Man, there's a dated reference, Greg, but hey, that's what we're here for. And then comes back to life, and he's good to go on Monday, even though they've already announced his replacement for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. So, what a freaking week for Chad Gable, Greg.
Yeah, Chad Gable just stacking L's everywhere. Um, Again, another solid match with Sammy. So in ring, he's a boss, and I can see why he decided to turn heel because if you go all the way back to Mr. Shoes and being the comic character to right now, it's just a huge, huge swing,
Yeah.
and he has done a masterful job of transitioning from the goofy backstage funny promo character to the guy that makes us feel like we need a shower after we watch his promos. And
Big ick factor.
exactly, and his matches have only gone up in quality. So doing all the things right. So props to him for that. I wasn't a Gable fan at the beginning, during the Shoosh era of his rise, but his progression, I've been a fan of it, watching each step up and enjoying his heel work right now. So um, great stuff. But this week has been brutal for him, from losing to Sammy, which you finally got me on his boat
Then I
that
screwed it up. Yeah.
he was going to win, and losing the academy, or at least we think he lost the academy. Otis walked out, but he hasn't declaratively stated, unless I missed something, that they are no longer a thing. And
Well, I thought
screw
he
you.
yelled, "You're all fired anyway," as they are
Yeah,
leaving.
well,
So,
we'll see if that holds
yeah,
up. But
if that
I'm
holds up,
still
yeah.
there's still some questions left on that. But
Mhm.
um, it does look like they've declared their independence, kind of.
Yeah.
Um, and then if that didn't work, the Wyatt Six has definitely helped him with that. And he got off at the end of Monday Night Raw, and
the
so
only person who got who was legit wrestler. Everybody else was extras in that gruesome scene, and then just little vignette or little foreshadowing towards other characters. But he was the
yeah,
only complete wrestler on the roster. Do you think the IC title is still the ceiling for him, or is he the dark horse for Money in the Bank?
Um, that could be a way to, since he didn't beat Sammy, could be a way for him to still stay in the picture because, you know, heel or not, he's still hot.
Yeah.
And to keep that momentum going is, give him the briefcase and give him that fuel to keep him going. So I'd be a fan of it, given what he's given me these last few months.
And with the Money in the Bank poster featuring Jey Uso, Greg, I'm starting to think Jey Uso's not winning the Money in the Bank. I don't feel like they telegraph it that much. I know it's just a poster, but a lot of times you question the featured person being a winner right there. But yeah, Chad Gable, I still would like him to get that IC title. But then, of course, Jey Uso needs something too with all the work he's put in. So there's a few guys that we need to elevate their game, give them a title to put them at that next step. But
Yeah.
Bailey keeps rolling along. Really good match with Piper Niven.
Yeah.
I think I'm still going to hold out. Greg, Chelsea Green won her qualified match. I think she might get Piper to help her win the Money in the Bank briefcase on Saturday, July 6th. But what do you think about the match between Bailey and Piper?
Awesome match. Love that match. And there was those moments where you wonder if Piper was going to win.
Yeah.
But it was good on your edge of your seat type of match because it was back and forth and super solid match. I love that match. So I was disappointed that Piper didn't win, but predictably Bailey did win. And I'm not mad at it because they gave me a banger. So. And then Bailey left and let Piper stay in the ring and get our flowers from Scotland. So, shout out to her for doing that.
She gave her the little head nod of approval, like, you do your thing there. So, and finally, Damian Priest keeps rolling along, Greg. Every time they count him out, but there was a bit of a distraction. A referee snuck in there and pulled a 2 count, and then got taken, or he got to do a low blow to Drew McIntyre, the CM Punk factor. But Greg, CM Punk ended up worse for wear. I was kind of wondering if they might do a double turn with Punk and Drew with the way things were going. But after SmackDown, Greg, and that scene of the garage door opening up and Punk just lying there lifeless, it'd be pretty hard to make Drew and Punk do a double turn after that, wouldn't it?
Exactly. When I saw that, I thought the Wyatt Six were breaking in, and we're going to get some more shenanigans from them. And then you see Punk's lifeless body and Drew
carries him.
Yeah, it's like a scene from a monster movie.
Yeah,
and how WWE does. If you're in your hometown, you're going to get it. And Punk got it. Even he is not immune to getting the business in your own hometown. And he took a big L, and deservedly so. I mean, you never would consider Drew a sympathetic character by any means, but after what happened in Scotland, it was like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
And Punk had this coming, and he, got in the ring and he cut this killer promo at the beginning and ran down Drew some more, and he just keeps backing that bus up over him over and over and over. And so he had this beat down coming. So that's just going to fuel the hate from both sides. And I wouldn't be surprised if it ends with a Hell in a Cell match or something like that, because we're getting some mega heat
up, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, we saved that for when there's true bad blood, and this is getting there. So I'm here for all of it.
And funny to think, CM Punk has just wrestled at Royal Rumble, and he's helping Drew elevate. Him and Drew are elevating their game without a match. which is
Yeah.
that's definitely a sign of both guys. I mean, that truly shows Punk is in it. You know what I'm like that. That really tells me he's in it. Like for the for not maybe the long run, but 2 or 3 years. So Damian Priest, we saw who he's up for next. Seth Rollins. I did not foresee Seth Rollins back this quickly. Did you, Greg?
No, I thought he would be gone for a while, especially since Becky just left. You know, what time for them to, the three of them, him, Becky, and Baby Rue,
Yeah.
have some family time together. Milk another month or two out of it. But no, here he goes
Guess
opening
not.
Raw,
He still looked a
and
little ginger too, I thought. Like
yeah,
walking to the ring. So that makes me a
right.
little worried for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I agree. So it does look like it's too soon, especially when, we still got Gunther waiting in the wings, which I thought was the next man up. So,
Well, they did
uh,
announce both of those would do SummerSlam because that's why Naya keeps saying SummerSlam.
mhm.
So, and that's what's funny. Like, do you want Gunther to beat Seth or do you want Gunther to beat Damian? Because I hope that is the actual, plan of action. Or you could do a triple threat, maybe if Seth isn't ready to go. But I guess he would have to be ready to go if he was coming back. But I still think there was some gingerness to his walking in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, the Seth dance at the top of the ramp was non-existent. He kind of
Yes.
did his little skulking thing, and yeah, it doesn't look like he's ready yet. But this business is a drug, and these guys can't stay away long enough to actually heal up correctly. So, um,
Then again, we do have the Money in the Bank case. So maybe if you do the men's Money in the Bank briefcase first, you can use that person to get in the match and maybe not make Seth do as much. So I mean, there's definitely options there.
yeah, for sure.
But you know what I want to talk about, Greg? I could not believe my eyes. I had to keep looking because Pat McAfee, I figured he would have broken this, Greg. Unfortunately, it looks like he's trying to get targeted by the Wyatt Six. There's been 2 days in a row when there's been sudden weird things happening on the Pat McAfee show. But WrestleVotes came out with this, and of course, our local paper ran with it. Based off that, there's, I guess for sure, we're getting well. We don't know for sure of any of this, but the reports are Royal Rumble 2025, which would be the upcoming Royal Rumble at Lucas Oil Stadium, and then future events such as SummerSlam and WrestleMania. That's I
Hey,
just said those words, Greg. Wrestle freaking Mania. Now I'm hearing it probably would happen with a 7-year window. I don't imagine they're going to do Indianapolis 3 years in a row for three straight types of stuff, but maybe every couple years. SummerSlam comes back in a couple years and WrestleMania in a few years or whatever. But getting Royal Rumble is all I care. The other two is like, oh my god, like that's just icing on the cake. I even though I've always said I did not think WrestleMania would come back just because WWE has been so high on big, 100,000, 80,000. So Lucas Oil, when the Final Four's here with the basketball type setup, you could get about 70 some thousand. So I'm guessing they're okay with that. And that's good. But Royal Rumble here, I'll be interested to see will they do. So the Olympic swimming trials, they've done kind of half the arena type deal, the half the stadium. So you do wonder if Royal Rumble, they'll use the whole stadium or will they just try to do some half of it so, it's bigger and louder just with a smaller capacity. But having these three big major time events in Indianapolis in a 7-year window is freaking huge for our city. So I am very excited about Royal Rumble. I am very leery about how much prices will be, but we're going to try to make it happen. So, yeah, I know there's probably whatever you can add to, sorry, the love of Indy, Greg. You can't. It could get you here, though. We got 3 chances now for you to try to get here.
Hey, I'm all about it, man. I hope it happens. And, you know, let me pull up some floor in Stephen Manor because I would definitely come out.
You got the flight already hooked up.
Oh yeah, I got planes already taken care of, and I flew to Japan to watch WrestleMania last year, and that didn't go over so well. So coming to Indianapolis would be
gotta stay in the States.
Right. That would be like driving across the street. So I hope it's true and they do set it up. And I think if they're looking at putting those events there, then this directly indicative of what the numbers have been telling them. And there's like, okay, Lucas Oil's good. It's and having been to a Rumble already, wait till you see it. It's amazing. I loved it so much. I went the year that Asuka and Becky Lynch had their amazing match, and Asuka beat Becky, but that prompted Becky to enter the Royal Rumble and win that. So it was a great year to go to the Rumble for sure. So it's a great event. I highly suggest it.
Becky and Drew or Becky and Seth? I can't remember who won it with Becky. I think it was
I want to say Seth, but I'm not 100% sure. So I think they may have both won their Rumbles, but I know great event. We had an amazing time. We were there for about 12 hours though. So but it was definitely worth it. So I hope they come because I would be there, and we could do some shows live. So
exactly.
Let's go. And Felix Leader working those credentials.
That'll be the big one because we got Raw here tomorrow night. So Gunther is going to be at a B-Dubs. So I think I'm going to go try to swing by there and get there early. The guy at B-Dubs is like, we expect a big turnout. So I'm going to hopefully get him. He's doing the whiskey, the weekly vodka thing again. So I guess I'll get another bottle of that I'll probably never open, Greg. That'll be autographed. But really huge news for Indianapolis to have those 3, big major events coming, like I said, sooner rather than later. But I was kind of wondering if maybe McAfee would announce the Royal Rumble on Monday night. And then, maybe a WWE tweet comes out stating the rest. But have you noticed on McAfee's show the past couple days, the Wyatts have been, I guess the Wyatt 6 has been messing with this show.
Yeah, I saw a couple little blurbs about it. They had to black out the one day, and then the next day there was something else that happened. So
they kind of ended,
So I'm curious to see what actually happened. If he actually got jumped or they just are messing with his power. So.
And to kind of have that on ESPN is huge. Even though I'm hearing McAfee might be out of game day, he hasn't re-signed yet. So you wonder, I'm guessing maybe he just wants to stick to the show and maybe WWE stuff. So maybe he could do more there. But speaking of Raw, so I guess let's get into it. Uncle Howdy did return, and quite the horror scene, as they called it, Greg. Like we said, the only wrestler that was taken out was Chad Gable. So do you think that's the first target of the Wyatt fam or the Wyatt 6? Or is there just going to be a whole bunch of people in their purview, as they say?
Yeah, I think it's going to be he was just wrong place, wrong time. And there's going to be a lot more just people just in the way that are going to get run over. I don't think there's a method to their madness yet until they start speaking. So I don't think he's a target, but he just got. And there's going to be some others that get it too.
Or like people are using the Wyatt 6, it's all about family. And Chad Gable hasn't exactly been a good leader for his family. That's a good reason to take him out. The Alpha Academy is like his family. So We kind of talked about Damian Priest, Seth Rollins' return. Braun Strowman defeated Chad Gable. What about Io Sky? She got the win, but it looks like we're going to shift to Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan. Really good, kind of program for Zelina to step into there. Because we're obviously the big fish is Rhea Ripley. We don't know when her time is coming back, but I think Zelina is a good side quest for Liv Morgan. What do you think?
Sure, you're right on that. I've had trouble understanding why she's getting involved in the Dominic and Liv story.
Yeah.
We had their little interchanges in these matches, and Selena's coming in and jumping like, this doesn't make sense. Why is she, getting involved? But on the grander view, seeing that Liv's the champ and Zelina wants to antagonize her, I guess that's a reason.
Yeah.
And she wants to, cut the line of contenders. So jumping the champ is a good way to do that. That's the only thing that makes a modicum of sense. Otherwise, why would she care about what happens with Liv and Dominic? So it would
Are
be
we
a
okay
good.
with? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It would be a good way to start. Live off, getting some wins on
Yeah.
the way to Rhea coming back.
Yes, that's the big thing. Because Io Sky picks up the win. Would you have liked Kiana James to sneak into there, or is it too early to put her in that Money in the Bank match?
Yeah, I think it's too early.
Yeah.
Io gets some clout to whoever wins, given her track record already. So, Kiana James is all the time in the world. So she's
Yeah.
still a rookie by Raw standards. So
She hasn't
give
been
her
on.
some time.
Yeah. Braun Breaker given the IC title now, Greg. I'm calling.
Yeah.
I want. There's too many. I need to break the IC title into like 5 pieces, right? Because there's like 5 or 6, 3 or 4 guys that just need it. But Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Sami Zayn, and then you had Ludwig Kaiser kind of involved. So maybe a fatal 4-way, and then maybe Sami. And you almost think. I guess I'm wondering if we might do Sami and Sheamus at SummerSlam
Hmm.
and give Sheamus the final piece of his puzzle. But I'm all in a Braun Breaker. Who do you think ultimately you want to kind of grab this IC title? Maybe out of those 4, or do we keep thinking about Chad Gable? But I love Sami Zayn, but I think one of those guys need to kind of get it now.
Yeah. I think now that Gable has had his opportunities and failed, that Money in the Bank is the next rung up for him. So
Yeah,
we send him off over there. And then with the new crop of contenders, I love what they're doing with Braun as far
yeah,
as making him seem so dangerous and destructive, showcasing, that speed, talking about his rope to rope speed, and then just the velocity he gets running around the ring. It's impressive to watch. And when he they did the view from the top of the arena as he
yes.
did that
Sky Cam.
circle, and the pure speed he had when he speared Ludwig was amazing.
Yeah.
I can imagine, watching from the top of the arena and seeing that, you would still be blown away.
Mhm.
And putting Ricochet through a car window, and just brutality, and it's definitely give him some street credibility. And I think I would love to see him with the title and coming out and cutting his teeth against the best. So out of the new crop of challengers, I'm with you. I like to see Braun get it.
Speaking of Ricochet, he was mentioned on commentary a couple times and they gave themselves the out, Greg, because they're like, he could be back or he might not be back at all. I'm kind of wondering if Triple H and him are trying to work something out. Because remember, Gargano kind of did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gargano got taken out completely by Grayson Waller, right? And
Yeah.
then he was back a couple months later, a few months later, whatever the timeline was. So do we? I kind of think Ricochet might be back.
Yeah, I agree. And I've been happy to see Ricochet in these high profile matches with guys who are, on the rise and needing that TV time, like
Yeah,
Dragunov, like
yeah,
Braun Breaker, and people that they're showcasing. And he's the one, even if he's taking L's, he's the one helping these guys look good, help
yeah.
put them over. So that they trust him to do that, um, is big props for him.
Mhm.
And, they're giving him that spotlight. So I think it's a good thing. And they're going to try to, make it right for him, and he's going to get a run of his own. So, and then showing off his relationship with Samantha. I mean, you usually keep those relationships kind of on the low,
Yeah.
but actually mentioning it, having her get in the ambulance with him, and that
She
gives
hasn't been
him
on
some
TV.
extra.
And she hasn't been on TV, I think, the past couple weeks.
Yeah. So I love what they're doing. I think he's going to get a new deal for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, they gave it the out though that hey, these injuries might keep him out, forever or whatever. So, I don't know. I feel like there is something, I just think there might be something there. But Carlito picks up a win, but that was all thanks to Dominique and JD and blah. We're still doing this. Carlito, is he or is he not in Judgment Day? We'll see where that goes. Drew McIntyre quit WWE, Greg, but then was back Friday night, which we kind of mentioned. Caden Carter and Katana Chance picked up a huge win. And we had Io Sky saying again, things need to change. Um,
Yeah.
what do we? I have no idea what that means though, because Oscar's on the shelf. I don't
Yep.
know who else. Is there somebody that we haven't thought about coming through the door, Greg? But yeah, very curious what this means for damage control. Any thoughts on your end?
Yeah, I'm curious as you are, because when somebody says something like that, things need to change. Things change pretty quick. So,
Yeah,
um, but like you said, Oscar's gonna be healing for a while
yeah.
from the looks of things, and unless you may have somebody else she's thinking about in the bag, that somebody may be getting kicked out, or she may be leaving. So that's what I'm thinking right now. But I'm curious to see what happens.
Uh, Sheamus did defeat Braun Breaker, but via DQ because all the shenanigans that happened. And then Jay Uso got in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I still think Finn will get in through one of those like last chance. They give the whoever's left out. I think Finn still gets in the ladder match. And I mean, Finn could be a dark horse as well because there has been shots of the Judgment Day where there's a briefcase with his face, the demon's face on it. So there's little
Mhm.
things here and there, Greg, that make me wonder. And I mean, we got to admit the juicier storyline would probably be Finn with the briefcase and Damien as champion.
Yeah,
So
right.
I still think Finn gets in there. Like I said, through the last chance, they throw everybody left in some sixth man or whatever. Because I think Jay feels too telegraphed to be Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, now that Chad Gable's out of the mix, that maybe that's going to be his spot.
Yeah,
And through a last chance match, and because it is a great storyline. If Damien's standing there holding the title and Finn's standing there holding the briefcase, and
yeah,
he put in the little swerve that of course I would go after uh, Cody,
yeah,
but you know he's not going to make it that obvious. So it would be a cool dynamic, because I think the breakup is going to happen in pieces and slowly, but
hmm
you can feel it coming.
yeah, yeah. NXT. Say his name and he appears, Greg. Joe Hendry was the big name to appear from TNA. And Frankie Kazarian. And Kazarian was one of the last four people left or so. I
Yeah,
almost thought they might pull the trigger on Kazarian, but it does sound like this is all part of the plan for Joe Hendry. They know he's over in TNA. that's why they, were trying to see how the NXT universe would react to him, and they did it well. Javon Evans wins it, but then Ethan Page was still in it, so then he defeats Javon Evans, and Trick Williams came out there, and then who was there somebody else? There was like four of them laid out. Was it Aura? Oro?
Yeah, Aura.
Yeah. So Fatal 4-Way, maybe there next week at Heat Wave.
It would look good because that's what that last shot before they went off air.
Yeah.
All four of them laid out and the title in the middle.
Exactly.
So, if that's not your clue, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely what we're gonna get. And yeah, I like the setup. And yeah, let's go. It's good. Let's go get it.
Yep. Roxanne and Lola Vice defeated Lash Legend Jakira Jackson and JC Jane, sporting the Cody Rhodes mask still. Roxanne takes out Lola anyway, so that looks like where we're heading for there. Kaylani Jordan picked up a big win. Fallon Henley picked up a big win. Chase U picked up a win. Greg with Andre Chase getting the win. It's been it felt like a while since Andre Chase has gotten a win. So, any kind of other thoughts from NXT before we kind of shift into SmackDown and then get a quick break for AEW talk?
Yeah, I was a little surprised by how everybody knew Joe Hendry because, like I said, I've been off the TNA bandwagon for a long time, and seeing that when they, played his music, everybody was there, and he got a huge pop, and I'm sitting there going, "Who is
He's
Joe
very
Hendry?"
gimmicky, is what I've heard, and he does a lot of spoof stuff. He made when he did Matt Cardona, he did some spoof song for him. Brian Myers, I think he did a spoof song against him. And then I think there was even one point where he wanted to get one of the songs like number one on some playlist. So everybody kept like tweeting and calling in to try to get this song to number one. So he's very gimmicky, but man, people are loving him right now. And I'm guessing NXT is very high on him.
Yeah, I actually, did a thing last night and watched Against All Odds, the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So just wanted to see if, there was enough juice in there to, make me want to watch it on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
And regular being at all.
Yeah.
And it was there.
Yeah.
I still wasn't hugely impressed with it. Apparently, there were some things that I was a little surprised about. Apparently, Santino Marella is the GM in TNA now.
What is he, the director or something? The direct authoritative figure? Yeah,
He's something like that. Yeah,
but he has some weird title though.
So he's pretty much the GM now, making decisions for matches.
Because his daughter is in NXT, who's Ariana Grace. So it'd be interesting to see, if they ever could get Santino back and maybe do something with her.
Yeah. There's also some interesting people in there. Santana from
oh yeah,
Prime Powerful. He's there now.
Okay.
Rich Swan, we knew he's a lifer in there. But AJ
with,
Francis,
Top Dollar,
he's there now. The Neva brothers, we knew about them. Who else? Fandango is now Dirty Dango.
Yeah, and he's joining up with the System, is what I saw, or trying
Right.
to join up with them.
That was a great match with Trent Seven and Mustafa Ali for the their X Division Championship. It was really good, and Ali won in the end. But really impressive match with those two. Otherwise, the usual suspects. Eric Young still will be in the TNA Hall of Fame whenever he retires, if he ever does. And the match with Matt Hardy and Moose was a banger. So I give him credit for that. Great match. no rules, so all the weapons
Yeah.
were being used, and it turned out really great. But aside from a couple matches, the rest of it was kind of meh.
Yeah.
So that's the review of Against All Odds. We know what happened with the Open Challenge and everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it was
there's
interesting
little
to see
things
who was
here and
doing that.
there I think that are getting people's attention. I'd still like to see Jordan Grace somehow find her way in WWE. I think she's kind of being, she's doing her thing down there, but the bigger fish are in the other sea. So you
Right.
wonder, when her contract's up, that might become calling. But then I saw this past week, um, Steph DeLander and PCO had their date ruined by Top Dollar. So he chokeslammed Steph DeLander. Um, I forgot what her name was in NXT. Persia? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So she got her date ruined, but she was dressed like Elvira too, which I don't know if many people got that reference, but hey, I got it. So I thought she was kind of young for Elvira too, so I'm kind of surprised she did that. But back to SmackDown. Paul Heyman warned CM Punk not to mess with the bloodline, but Cody Rhodes came out there anyway, and CM Punk got taken out anyway. So, but that shot, Greg, of Drew McIntyre just carrying almost like Jesus carrying the cross with CM Punk's lifeless body, and just and like they said, it's not all about the bright lights and the production of like sounds and all that. It's just one camera shot, just taken the whole way. That just shows everything. So, I guess I would have liked the Drew thing to play out a little bit longer. You quit and then you're back already, but it makes sense. He took out CM Punk in his hometown when he was being cheered ferociously. So nothing wrong there. But Chelsea Green gets a big win over Bianca Michin, though. Any thoughts on that, Greg? Are you okay with Chelsea Green getting the win there?
Yeah, it's like they had a voter for getting all the last person we picked to win the match as the winners, and starting with Chelsea Green. So it's going to make a fun match for sure, because we can see her trying to, lie, cheat, and steal her way to getting it, and pulling off all the shenanigans. So it's going to be even more fun to see her get thrown off a ladder or through a table. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and everybody who didn't get an entrance won. So Carmella Hayes didn't have an entrance, and Andrade did not have it. And I'm probably surprised by Carmella. Look who he was with, Greg. But you also have the side the side story of Randy Orton and Tama Tonga. So that's got to, I think Money in the Bank we're going to get Cody and Randy and Kevin Owens against the Bloodline threesome, or force whatever three people you want to do. Does that seem the direction we're going for Money in the Bank?
Yeah, that's what it smells like from here. You're putting all the upstarts in the contenders side of things in the ladder match, and then saving the tried and true for the next man up. A la a Randy Orton. So I see what they're doing. They're using the veterans to be the place setters, and then the rookies and the young guys to battle their way to the top. Old school way, the way it used to be.
We could shift off Tama and Tonga against Randy and Kevin at SummerSlam. Jacob Fatu's the wild card and all that to see what he might do. But Carmella Hayes picked up a win. Andrade picked up a win. Escobar brawled with LA Knight, but then Logan Paul came out. Do you think we're getting a triple threat for Money in the Bank, and then maybe we shift to LA Knight and LA Knight and Logan Paul at SummerSlam? Or are we just waiting to SummerSlam for Logan Paul and LA Knight?
I think it's going to be SummerSlam for Logan and LA Knight.
Yeah.
You can do a triple threat in the meantime, on the way to SummerSlam, but it's got to end with Logan versus LA 1-on-1, and then the title changing hands
in Logan Paul's hometown. Does that give us
There
any
you go.
pause? Does that give us any pause?
Nope. I mean, if
So,
CM Punk can get it, so can Logan
yeah,
Paul.
yeah.
Definitely so can Logan
Logan
Paul.
Paul can get it. So
That's right. So
then, of course, Cody Rhodes defeated Solo Sikoa by DQ, Greg. But we finally got another piece of the puzzle. We now have, so Jacob Fatu is the nephew of Rikishi and Umaga. I mean, he was looking just like Umaga, wasn't he? I really thought he was, but he's Sam Fatu's son, which I have no idea who Sam Fatu is. But I mean, he looked dead on like Umaga. So that's what I was assuming. And then I had to get my bloodline family tree out to, make sure my lines were correct. But Jacob Fatu, they have done everything just about right with the bloodline new 2.0, haven't they?
they have. I mean, everybody who's coming in and filling out the new bloodline
looks like a
you know,
killer.
they do. They all fit in that. When you put them side by side, like, yep, I see it. There's not one piece that doesn't stand that stands apart. They look like a vicious gang, and that's how they're building them. So, whenever Roman comes back, and he's going to have to assemble his
That
own
pop is going
crew,
to be huge, isn't it?
it's going to be amazing. Yeah, because now people are chanting, "We want Roman," after despising him for all this time.
Yeah.
And so we're pretty sure that when he comes back, that Solo is going to be standing against him and not with him.
Yeah.
Now that he's got his own crew, so super stoked to see when that pops off, which we figure is going to be SummerSlam, and getting that Civil War going.
Yeah. And then I guess I still want The Rock to be the chief that they're talking about, like Solo's side, right?
Yeah.
So then it's going to be interesting to see who can fill out the lines for Roman's squad. Because, you have the Usos. Does he, do we get him and Sami Zayn back on the same page?
That would make sense. I mean, the honorary Us, pull him back in for one more tour. And if Roman goes
bygones.
Right.
For
Roman goes babyface, then there's your chance.
Sami Zayn is a forgiving person.
True.
We have realized that, him and Jay. But yeah, that'll be the there's another guy, Zilla Fatu, who's up and coming wrestler. He's like trying to fill the void too. So who knows, Greg? We might maybe Sami Zayn is related to them. We just haven't known all along. But yeah, a lot of I think ultimately though, because if we're going to get The Rock and Cody anyway, I think I want The Rock pulling the strings of this new. I mean, and it makes sense. He wants young bloods, right? I mean, yes, Roman and Jay and Jimmy have all had their time, but want The Rock be more interested in getting young talent, being the board of director, being the final boss, which I'm hearing the rumblings for WWE 2K25. They're legit trying to build a game like a mode of final boss mode, and you would face The Rock to kind of finish something. But do you think The Rock is going to be behind the Bloodline 2.0?
I think so. It would make more sense that he figures he could be the unquestioned leader of Bloodline 2.0, as opposed to him standing next to Roman and Roman having the head that I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss, and having that dynamic going on, and those two kind of side eyeing each other anytime they're in the ring together. They were building up a Roman versus Rock match for WrestleMania anyway that went sideways, and that's still a way to steer it towards that for next WrestleMania.
Yeah. Even though we still, like I said, we still probably need to get The Rock and Cody out of the way as well. So, but you could maybe do that Royal Rumble, if you want to build up Royal Rumble, but I still think that'd probably be a WrestleMania type match. So. Well, that was the week that was in WWE.
I'll steer it back
Oh,
to the
sorry,
Drew
go
thing
ahead.
for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
Um, I like what happened with Drew because it looks like me like Punk's been playing all the mind games, and now
Yeah.
Drew's doing the same thing by coming out and just going, "I quit," and having everybody, oh,
Thinking
okay,
he's really quit.
because it makes total sense
Yeah.
after what happened and where it happened that he'd just be fed up and going, "I'm sick of it. Screw all of y'all. I'm gone."
Yeah.
And this way, Punk lets his guard down. He can show up in his
Exactly.
city,
Okay.
and he doesn't see it coming,
Yeah.
and until it's too late. And so this is Drew playing mind games with Punk. Maybe he had no idea, no clue, no intention of leaving at all.
Oh
We
yeah.
all know he got a new contract,
Oh yeah.
but this is his way of the setup for Punk, and
Yeah.
he's playing the game now. It's like, you want to play this game? Okay, I can do that too. I quit, and Punk's there. It's like, I didn't know it'd be so easy to get Drew to fold and take his ball and go home. So
Yeah.
his guard was totally down. He totally fooled, and Drew got him. So I love the way that happened. You say you wish it drawn out a little bit faster or a little bit longer. I think
Gonna
this
make
was perfect
sense. Yeah.
to
That makes
to put his guard down and then get him in his own hometown the way that he got Drew pretty much in his home country. So it made perfect sense to me.
And I guess, I keep wondering who will come out on top. I think they're both for the better out of it, right? I don't think it's necessarily going to matter who gets the win in the end.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like it's been said, I've seen it many places that the Drew that emerged from him injuring Punk and cutting those promos that I'm glad I injured you and did all that.
Yeah.
That's unlocked the best version of Drew that we've seen in a
Yeah.
long time. And so it was just a happy accident. And now we're getting this smoking hot rivalry, and they both seem to be heels.
Yeah.
Um, we knew Drew was the heel going in, and then Punk at Clash doing what he did, giving the kick to the balls and
Yeah.
to him and Scott. I mean, that's a heel move if there ever's a heel
But then
move.
again, the
And
beatdown gives you a little sympathy. I mean, a bloody mess left by Drew.
yeah, it's like yeah, it's
But then
just a
also
whose side
say,
you're on of
I was going to
because
say
it's
he
like two
deserved
villains.
it in a way. So yeah. They're
Yeah,
so it should be interesting to see. I guess where you like if you do it at SummerSlam, will you're almost going to maybe just see what the crowd does and kind of play
yeah.
up to see which direction. All right, let's do a quick commercial break for Elite Performance, and then we'll get right back into it with some AEW stuff, and then wrap up the show. All right, so I figured we kind of do a little small prediction game with the Owen Hart tournaments, Greg. So looking at the men's side of things, we've already had Pac move ahead. Jeff Jarrett's got a wild card. Ray has any other match, and then Brian Danielson and Shingo is happening at Forbidden Door. Did Ray Phoenix and Jay White happen yet? I don't believe it has.
I don't think it has yet.
Or is that it might be coming up, but we're just looking at these names. Who are you pulling for, Greg?
Well, I'm a Ray Phoenix guy to the core, so I would love to see him get to the finals. I'm curious to see who the wild card is, because that's going to shift the whole balance of power, I think. Because I think if we don't know who it is right now, it's going to be somebody big. Um, so without knowing who the wild card is, uh, I'm going to have to say Ray right now.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with it. Bryan Danielson. Give him something on his way out the door, on to retirement. But Jay White is my underdog. I think I'd like to see Jay White kind of get some singles run, which would probably be, detrimental to your Ray Phoenix pick, but then it would be detrimental to my Jay White pick. So,
Right.
yeah, the wild card, I'm very curious to see who that might be. But good on Pac, picking up a win. About time for him probably to, get going again. So, but I'm going to pull for Bryan Danielson. Now, the women's side, we've actually had, so we've had Willow move on. We've had Chris Statlander move on. And then did we have Saraya beat Mariah May yet? Or is that coming up?
I think that's coming up. We haven't had that match
We
yet.
haven't had that side yet. So, Willow and Chris, who are you picking out of that one, Greg?
Interesting. I think probably Willow.
Okay.
Willow's still got huge momentum going with her, and everybody's behind her. And Stat's been getting the jump on Willow lately, so I think Willow gets some payback.
I think I'm going to pull Chris Statlander there, just because like you said, even though she's been getting the upper hand, Willow, well, they both technically have been at the top there, but Willow kind of got there, in spite of Chris. So I think Statlander comes out on top. I think I'm going with Statlander all the way to the finals. Maybe her and Deanna, I think, are going to be finals. What about your side on that other side?
I'm looking at it and wondering who could benefit the most from it.
Yeah. Rhea, because she's really got nothing going, right?
True. And I would love to see her win it. I just don't think she is.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it for Mariah May.
Okay.
Because Mariah May is, she's got it going on right now. She's, of course, working with Toni Storm, and all of her matches have been great, and the people are behind her. And this would give her something separate of Toni Storm, and something that's Toni Storm related.
Yeah, and that can build that dynamic of, maybe she goes after the title.
Right. So, I love what they're doing with her, and love the the relationships they're bringing out with Toni and with can't remember the Asian girl's name right now.
Nina Sakura.
Yeah. She can apply for Hot Asian Girlfriend too, because yum.
Yeah, she can get it, as the kids say.
Exactly.
Or teenagers say. Then Saraya added a little wrinkle to her group, though, with the big ass problem. Anna Jay, right?
That's right. Yep. So
good on Anna Jay to maybe finally do something that's not, Dark Order related. So, and then I think it was funny. Anna Jay was showing, she took a picture. So Jack Perry's been driving that scapegoat trailer around, and apparently she's been, she's his girlfriend. So she's just showing her chilling in the back, like laying. There's no bed for her to sit, Greg. So she just showed her. Somebody asked if she's been riding along. She's like, she tweeted out, "Not exactly riding along," and it just showed her laying on the ground of this, beat up trailer that they're riding around in. So,
I like they're bringing the OGs back in. Nyla Rose is back, and Karashita's back. We've seen Rio recently. But where the hell is Britt Baker? That's what I want to know.
We need Britt and Jamie back to see what they can do.
Yeah, so unless they're badly injured or something, I need some Britt Baker back in my life because she was the golden girl for the first 2-3 years of AEW. And now we haven't seen her in forever. So I'm using my wizard powers right now to speak her name and make her appear. The way I did with MJF a couple weeks ago. So, I'm invoking my powers and I want Britt Baker back on screen.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it 2 weeks.
I don't know what's going on with, like, I know Jamie Hayter's still recovered from injury, but you would think she's due back anytime. Britt Baker, they really haven't said anything as far as, injuries. I think she's literally just off because they just can't find anything for her to do.
Well, this is a good thing to do right here. I mean,
Yeah.
there should be a wild card spot in there for her.
She was she won it. Her and Adam Cole won it the same year.
That's true. Maybe that's why they're leaving her out. But
you think you'd want to put your former champions in there, but I guess it's like the NCAA. You don't always have. Sometimes the champion doesn't make it, or NFL, or anything. So
that's true.
Yeah.
But she needs to be back on screen because everybody else is coming back, and there is definitely a void that's still left. Because
you would think her and Mercedes would be a good feud.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Maybe after she gets through this next challenger, that we finally hear that music hit again, and because she's going to get a real good Road Warrior pop when we see her again.
Yeah. Or her, like we said, Jamie Hayter, who is really starting to find her groove and really at the top, and then just get hit with that bad injury. Just, man, so tough. So, some things on Dynamite. So apparently Roosh is forbidden to be on Forbidden Door, which is why we got this match now, Greg. We did see MJF will face now I can't think of how his name is said, but the Brian Cage group has him Hesperio or Hecherio. I think his name
Hechicero or
Hechicero, yes. Masked wrestler from AAA or one of those, CMLL, but that's where we're going to go with MJF, which he should get the win there. And then we'll see what happens at All In. But MJF picks up a win. Orange Cassidy, Jay Briscoe, and Dante Martin and Kyle O'Reilly picked up a win over some guys. I forgot who they beat. Kind of thoughts on those first couple of things, Greg?
It was good. I mean, like the MJF and Roosh match was really good.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that. And I don't know what Roosh did to get himself banned for Forbidden Door, but,
I don't know if it's because he works for one of the other companies or he has disagreements with one of the companies, but there's some reason why. Because I don't know why you wouldn't have done this on Forbidden Door if there was, if there's no reason not to. But I thought I've read he has disagreements with some, whoever, I forget which company, whichever Mexican wrestling company it is. So.
Mm-hmm.
OC, Orange Cassidy, they pick up a win. The Acclaim, they got a win. Looks like we're driving the Acclaim bus again, aren't we?
Yeah, looks like it. I mean, I think this is going to keep fueling the resistance to the Young Bucks, reign of terror, and just enlisting allies.
Because we'll have Blood and Guts happening in a few weeks in July.
Right. And this was one of those what do you call it, eliminator matches. So now they're going to get a title shot. So, and good match. So I'm usually not a big fan of Acclaim matches, but this was a really good one. But I think the Bucks were pretty much driving the bus as far as the quality. But I still enjoyed the match a lot.
Yeah, I was trying to think of. I know they've announced some of the participants for Blood and Guts. I can't find it, of course, off the top of my head, but I think isn't there still a person to be decided on both sides? I think.
Yeah, I believe it is
fifth member. I think at least four of them. So We still got some time. I think we'll get through Forbidden Door, and then next week is July. So it was in Nashville, Greg. I almost thought about trying to make the trek down there because Nashville's about 5 hours away.
Oh, nice.
I doubt if that could happen. We'll see. But anyways, Statlander picked up a win over Nyla Rose. Daniel Garcia picked up a win. And then Pac picked up a big win. So, what were some other things I might have missed from Dynamite that caught your eye, Greg?
No, just a good bunch of matches. I like to see Garcia keep on the path he's on.
Yeah.
Seems like he's embracing the solo road more and more.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's jumped in and helped out with some. I think he was in on some of the Bucks business, or was it
Yeah. I
the Jericho business?
think it was June. Can't remember.
But one is he's helping his own cause more than that. But
Yeah.
I'd like to see him keep winning. I love the promo that Pat cut. I don't know if it's this past Wednesday or the week before, where he was talking about he's tired of losing and
Yeah.
he lost himself. It's time to go back to being the old Pat, the old bastard, and start doing things for himself. So I hope doesn't mean he's going to stop doing Death Triangle business, but seeing him focus on being, the Pat that he was as a singles would be huge. So I love that, and I love the Joe and Hook angles.
Yeah.
Saw them. Joe is doing some solid mentor work backstage with Hook, and those segments have been really good. So I want to see what comes out of that.
What about Okada? He's finally starting to show some character on screen. Are we into it, bitch?
Yeah, we're into it just because
I feel like he's Borat with the knots. He's always like, he gives a slow pause. We have Big Ben in the chat. Thank you, Big Ben, for joining us. But I'm glad to finally see Okada getting mic, screen time and mic time.
Yeah, because like I said, he hasn't been that as impactful as a huge name as he is in Japan, as impactful here. He's part of the Bucks crew, yeah. But the star power doesn't ooze off the screen. I mean, he looks great. He's got the title, so he's got all the clout, and he's running what the bad guy clicks, so he's getting all the juice that goes with that. But I still am waiting to see the specialness about him. With Kenny Omega, you see what's special. With Will Ospreay, you see what's special as soon as you tune in. I'm still not there with Okada, but I want to be there, so I'm sticking with it. And they are showing some personality with him. He's pretty much just calling people bitches, but it's funny, and it's it's something that you don't hear out of Japanese talent very often. So it has that
and the delivery of it. Like I said, it's like the Borat when Borat was trying to learn how to tell a joke, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you're supposed to say not after it," and he'd be like, "Pause, not." Like I'm waiting on Okada to do the pause, bitch. But his like, "Oh, I'm sorry," that type of deal. Like really leaning into the, just weird, that Asian portrayal that I think we think of. He's really leaning into it. So
yeah, he's getting better at it. He's getting better at it, and it could become like the Ron Simmons with the damn.
It could. So, yeah. Oh yeah.
That could become a new tagline for him.
I do think it's all about him and Omega, though. That will be when we really see where the superstar power is. So, just feels like right now there's not that face, that face side that we could put against the Bucks. Like, I mean, we're going to the Acclaimed, but this is the Acclaimed now. If this is the Acclaimed last year, Greg, I think that would be all we're talking about is that elite storyline. But I just don't feel like there's the face side of things, or if MJF was going against the Young Bucks.
Mhm.
But right now, it doesn't feel like there's that juice behind that storyline that we need. So,
Right.
um, Private Party picked up a win. How about that? They got a win. They did get over on the Jericho thing. Then I thought they lost to Jericho and Big Bill, but Ray Phoenix picked up a win. The guy who never seems to come, who's always retiring and coming back, Leo Rush keeps picking up wins, Greg. And Shingo picked up a win. Remember AR Fox when he was a heel?
Yep.
Nobody does. Oh, I was gonna say nobody remembers that, but Shingo and Brian Danielson did not do the handshake though. So we're getting a little bit of personal business between that, and then of course Will Nightingale picks up a win over Serena Deeb, but Serena Deeb wants to do an open challenge coming this Wednesday, so it should be interesting to maybe to see who might answer that. So any Rampage thoughts, Greg?
No, just building juicy storylines. So I'm all about it, and uh, it's see Rampage is like the NXT of their
Yeah,
shows. So I like the building the lesser talents and or giving the returns more exposure like Serena
yeah,
Deeb and
yeah. You're
uh,
right.
those people. So uh, I'm enjoying what they're doing. Uh, Same thing with Collision. So
Mhm.
uh, they're doing good stuff out there. But
Which here are the lots of collision stuff happening. Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata got the win. That's what Shibata's been doing the translator as he's the cameraman for all this work. I
right.
think that's a good way to kind of build his character, off screen in a way, but it's given him a little bit of, character work. Uh, Speaking of not character work, Chris Jericho and Big Bill did pick up a win, Greg, over Private Party. Ugh,
Yeah.
man. Okada defeated Ultimo Guerrero, which I think he's with Ultimo or I think he's kind of the off brand of Ultimo Dragon type deal. But this is
Mhm.
eliminator match, so you would think you would have your contender win, but no, Okada wins. So the Patriarchy, they're still a thing. They picked up a win. Tony Storm picked up a win. Buddy Matthews, I guess, was written off last week due to injury. Now we have Malachi Black and Brody King kind of, doing stuff together. There's our Hichiro picking up a win over Daddy Magic. And of course, Will Ospreay did defeat Brian Cage. And Will often running on Will Ospreay and Swerve towards AEW, or sorry, towards Forbidden Door, which kind of sucks because it's AEW versus AEW. In that
Yeah.
regard. So,
True.
any thoughts on Collision, Greg?
Yeah. I hope that Buddy's going to be all right.
Yeah,
Uh, I actually watched that Collision last week because it's the 1 year anniversary, and
yeah,
they had some really good matches set up. And turned out to be like half of it was really really good.
yeah,
They had a street fight with the ladies with
yeah.
Thunder Rosa and I
Diana.
believe yeah, and that was a great match. The House of Black uh, in the main event with who was it? The the gun the guns and
Yeah,
Bullet Club
they
Gold, pretty much.
because they've been going
And-
against each other in like
right.
promos.
Solid main event, even though that's the match that Buddy got hurt, and so hopefully he's good. And I don't know, Collision's better. I may have to start to watching a little bit more, but that was solid, and they're doing some good work over there.
Yeah. Anything for the good of the matter in our last call. My Pacers made a big move. They signed Siakam. I don't think they made a trade for him. If they didn't think he was going to come back around, of course, nothing is official till July 3rd or whatever that first week of July is. It sounds like they might be working on TJ McConnell. JJ Redick gets the call as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah. It's. I guess you got to be an announcer to get a coaching job anymore, right, Greg? Because
Apparently.
Steve Kerr did it. Mark Jackson did it. Van Gundy kind of went back and forth with it. Now Reddick's doing it. People are joking. They're like, the only coaching experience he has, Greg, is his son's AAU basketball team. So there you go.
He'll be fired in 2 years.
Yeah.
So
Is it going to be 2 years? If you're Monty Williams from the Pistons, it is 1 year and you're done. Which some people said he should have been given credit for making them a 13 or 14 win team, Greg. Cavs are looking for a coach. Pistons are looking for a coach. NBA stuff is moving. Draft is this week, Thursday and Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday, whatever 2 days it is. So Celtics won. Not a big surprise there.
nope.
You made no money on it if you bet on it, probably, because I was hearing, the odds were just ridiculous. So anything's happened. I don't follow your Suns, Greg. So is there any news and smoke coming out of there?
No, all quiet in Suns country right now, but
Running it back.
Bigger fish to fry with the Diamondbacks and
Yeah.
all the heat going on right here because it is definitely getting warmer out here in the valley, and
that dry heat.
It's moist heat right now. There's a lot
I was gonna say, yeah, heat is heat to me. When people say, "Oh, it's a dry heat," I'm like, nope. If I'm sweating by the time I walk outside, I don't care.
Yeah,
it's hot.
There's a couple months that it is not dry. It is thick,
moist.
And
it's thick.
We are there right now, and we got the storms to prove it. I'm going to give a shout out to GCW because while I went down the rabbit hole to find Against All Odds, right next to it was the last GCW pay-per-view, which was titled "I Can't Feel My Face." So
did the Weekend come out?
Huh?
The Weekend, did he come out?
No, thankfully he didn't. Just off the name alone, I was like, okay, I gotta watch it. But disappointing GCW. Yeah. Disappointing. I like that they started the card with an intergender match with Billy Starks, who's the Ring of Honor women's champion, against some dude, Hunter Drake, who calls himself Beaver Boy.
Wonder what that nickname's all about.
Write your own joke there.
Yeah. No beaver cleavage, though, right? No beaver cleavage. If you remember that, that one and done character.
Yeah, it was not special. I saw Reggie.
Allie Ketch usually does the intergender stuff, so it's kind of interesting to let the younger talent do.
Well, she was still in the intergender match, just a 6-person intergender match.
Her and Effie.
Effie was still there. Apparently, Matt Cardona is the new GM.
Yeah, because he's nursing a bicep or tricep injury. So he's in his 20s.
One of his new rules is no weapons allowed. So I'm halfway through the card. The announcers mentioned that, and I was like, "What? Why am I watching this thing? There's no weapons allowed." Because this is the home of hardcore wrestling and deathmatch wrestling, and there's no weapons. I kind of noticed that leading up to it, but then they put that down there. I was like, "Oh, come on, man!" But I saw Reggie's still in there. Remember Reggie?
Scripps. He got his first win. I heard. I forgot he got let go.
No, he's in GCW now. Remember Fuego del Sol? Sammy Guevara's homie. He was there.
Seen Sammy Guevara on TV lately. Speaking of which,
no, I missed Sammy. I've been calling for Sammy to come back, so hope we get to see him soon. But it was not a special event. We love wrestling because it's guys and girls who look like they stepped off a page of a magazine, and you don't see in real life.
So should I go to it?
ECW is like you walk around Walmart, you see those people.
It's coming on
So
Saturday, July 20th here, Greg, to
are they?
Indianapolis. I just looked on their Twitter. This event's called "Don't Tell Me What to Do." So we got Nick Gage versus Hoodfoot, which I believe Hoodfoot is from Indianapolis. So
Oh, okay.
got the Rejects, whoever they are, versus Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed. Violence is forever versus it must be Mother Father, which is Effie and some woman. I can't tell who it is, or it might be a transgender because they have a look of they them. So Jimmy or Broski Jimmy, which is part of the Matt Cardona crew. So Mance Warner, who is Stephanie Delander's beau, he'll be doing some stuff, but I might see how much it is. Maybe I'll just go just for $3.33. Okay.
Hey,
$33. Sorry, $33. And it's at a hotel. So that's gotta be fun. It's gonna be in a ballroom.
right. So interesting. And apparently they had a big event in Denver a couple nights before, and that's where Nick Gage got injured. So he was supposed to wrestle
Oh,
Fuego, and he took too much damage in the Denver show and didn't make the card. So the whole reason I decided to commit to it was figuring Nick Gage was going to be in there somewhere, and he wasn't. So
Danhausen will be there in July 20 or June 29th. It's GCW Dallas. So Scripps guy, his name is Sydney. Looks like he's okay. All right.
So
there you go.
It was something.
Yeah, there's a GCW goes to Los Angeles. That's got Chavo Guerrero being featured, and the Maki Ito. She's the Asian girl that's very cursed. Nick effing Gabe. So yeah,
I will say, we mentioned Zilla Fatu. He had a match on that card.
Okay.
So we're probably got to see what Zilla Fatu looked like.
And he's pretty young, if I remember. I mean,
it is. He looks like he's still in high school. And they didn't mention. They love name dropping other promotions, but they didn't mention anything about him being part of the Bloodline or WWE. We saw some people put the ones up, but there was no outward acknowledgement of anything Bloodline related, which I thought was a little surprising. I thought they would have been all over that. So, but I did see what
Zilla is Umaga's, and he's Umaga's son. Like he's his actual son.
Okay.
So there you go.
He does look like
he's gonna go to WWE soon. He's gonna go to WWE soon. It does not. I don't have his. I'm trying to find his birthday because, like I said, he looks pretty young.
He does.
Wikipedia, maybe. Jacob Fatu. Nope, that's Jacob. I don't want him. Anyway, so yeah, Umaga. Maybe you can tell by Umaga's. Umaga's got how many kids does he have? 4 kids. So, personal life. Where's that? Yeah, it just tells his kids. It doesn't say, oh, Zilla just made his professional debut last year.
Yeah, they were talking about how new he is. So
he made it with Booker T's promotion and then left 3 months later, citing that word. A lot of people use in divorce. Irreconcilable differences. So the old divorce wording. So Zilla will be there soon. If he's the son of Umaga, if he's a bloodline member, Greg, he'll be there sooner rather than later. So anyways, but all right. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. We'll be back. So we got Forbidden Door next week to predict. We'll kind of get caught up on Raw and SmackDown and NXT, see what's happening there. Then the week after, Greg, we have Money in the Bank to predict and Heat Wave. and then we should get a little reprieve from predictions until SummerSlam. So I don't think there's any event. There's no big. I think AEW takes off. Not takes off July, but I don't believe there's any big. Well, Blood and Guts will be their kind of big event for July. So
Yeah.
we'll get a little reprieve, but then we're SummerSlam. Then we have Bash in Berlin. Then we have All In and All Out. So September and August will be busy. Then I think Bad Blood is coming back around, Greg. I don't know if that's going to be an NXT thing or what, but I'm hearing that's going to be a thing. So, man, the year never stops for us wrestling fans. But, and I did forget to say, Greg, happy anniversary.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Talk about your Psalms. You could talk about your John 3:16. Ajami 3:16 says, we just ended this show. But happy anniversary to a moment that will live forever. If that doesn't happen, who knows where Stone Cold might end up. Or like we said, Stone Cold was going to win the year before. No. Triple H was going to win that year. There was whatever happened. Because whenever the curtain call happened, Triple H was supposed to win. But anyways, so Stone Cold, happy anniversary to Austin 3:16. What an anniversary. 28 years ago today, Greg. I guess we know what we're going to watch after this.
Yes, sir. What?
Yeah, watch that fantastic match. Wait, it was not a very good match. I wonder if that was the main event, actually, now that I think about it. King of the Ring, 1996. Let's see, really quick, just for S's and G's. So King of the Ring. Let's see matches. No. So the main event, Greg, I will give you nothing if you can guess the main event. I'll give you a hint. Shawn Michaels was the champion. And so I will let you try to predict who did he beat because I don't have any recollection of this at all.
Attitude Era. So I will say Kane.
Not Kane, because Kane would not have debuted yet. It was actually the British Bulldog. The British Bulldog. Here's the card for this. I mean, the only thing we remember is King of the Ring final. But anyways, so you had the Body Donnas, Greg, if you remember them. That was Chris Gandino and Skip and Kip with. They did not have Sonny here at the time, but they won. Hunter Hearst Helmsley defeated Aldo Montoya, who was just incredible later on. We also had Stone Cold Steve Austin defeat Mark Miro. That was because remember, they used to do a couple King of the Ring matches and then the final. So Stone Cold defeated Mark Miro. Jake Roberts defeated Vader by DQ. The Smoking Guns, so Sonny was with them. They defeated the Godwins, Phineas I. Godwin and Henry O. Godwin, because you know what they spell, pig and hog. So there you go with that. Listen to this match, Greg. Ultimate Warrior defeated Jerry Lawler in a barn burner of a 3-minute and 50-second match.
Imagine that.
Mankind, though, defeated Undertaker by submission. So he must have done the mandible claw, made him submit. And then, of course, everyone's favorite, Ahmed Johnson. Remember him? Defeated Goldust. Now, I'm guessing, I don't know if that means it was for the IC title, but I'm guessing Ahmed won the IC title there. But then Stone Cold defeated Jake Snake Roberts. And then Shawn Michaels with his old Jose Lothario. If you remember those days of Shawn Michaels' run, he had Jose Lothario join him, defeated the British Bulldog, but Mr. Perfect was a special outside enforcer. 96 was a weird 95, like that mid-90s period, because I think Kane debuted in 97 or 98.
Oh, that was close.
At Hell in a Cell. Between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Because that's when Paul Bearer in the lead up to kept saying, you have a brother and he's going to show up at some point. So, but yeah, like that mid-90s period was a tough time for WWE. By the way, have you watched Who Killed WCW and all that funness that's been there?
No, I've been hearing about it on Busted Open. So
you can watch it on YouTube for free. It's got one more episode left, but the latest episode was all about Vince Russo. So yeah, that was
that's good.
Quite the interesting watch. Like people said, it's funny that The Rock is in it a few times because you don't really think about the Monday Night Wars with The Rock. You wouldn't think Who Killed WCW, The Rock, but he produced it, so he's going to put himself in there. Anyways, back at it next week. Enjoy the week, enjoy the weekend, and talk to you guys next weekend.